I'm living right here and now, and I don't wanna miss out. Is this what life's all about? The world is calling and I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening. I feel the freedom inside. Come on, let's go for a ride. I finally opened my eyes and I can see it so clearly. So clearly. Life is but a dream. And isn't it amazing? Oh, life can be amazing. Oh, I feel my heartbeat racing. I'll fly soaring ever higher. I can light my inner fire, and then we'll see what happens now. What happens now? And then we'll see what happens now. What happens now? Watch what happens now. Sometimes we have what it takes, sometimes we make our mistakes, and now the journey awaits. So don't you wanna come with me? Come with me. We'll make our way to the top. We'll never break, never stop. And when we get to the spot, we'll know we made it there together. We'll remember forever that life is but a dream. And isn't it amazing? Oh, life can be amazing. Oh, I feel my heartbeat racing. I'll fly soaring ever higher. I can light my inner fire, and then we'll see what happens now. What happens now? And then we'll see what happens now. What happens? Watch what happens now. It's amazing, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing, it's amazing. It's amazing, it's amazing. Whoa, it's amazing, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing, it's amazing. It's amazing, it's Watch what happens now.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the ALPHAS. Today it's a great summit. I think that this is the most crowded Zoom I ever held in my life, and we're 14 on the line, 14 people. This is amazing. I have to tell you that I'm looking at all of you, and I am so humble and honored to be standing amongst you. We're all doctors, and the book we're talking today is The Power of Doctor. But beyond the title of Dior, it's not about being a doctor, it's about the human behind the title. And everyone, thank you so much to be here today. Since we are so many of us, and this is a launch of the book, usually we should talk, but I like to bring the mic to each one of you. I'll be introducing you, and then I'm going to give you the mic to tell us about who you are, your story, and also why you're trying this book, and also the hope you bring in with it. Starting with this, there's a brother from another mother. A man who I met at the beginning of COVID who inspired me to go further, Dr. Paul Ouellette. I'm addressing you because you are the link who brought all those people together. Yes, we had a group called the ALPHAS, and then we joined another group, the Regions. And you were the link making this happen. Dr. Paul Ouellette, you have 50 years of experience as an orthodontist. You're usually the dean of all of us. And you brought so much wisdom, but kindness to the table. With this, Dr. Ouellette, I'm pretty sure that I just went through a fraction of your resume. Would you like to share with us your thoughts?
Well, thank you. It's so great to be in front of all of you. And I was so happy when I met Kianor. I think it was probably back in October, November. He was giving a lecture in Korea about small form implants, and I was very interested in that. So I emailed him, and amazingly, he just instantly got back to me. And so we started corresponding, and I found out about his wonderful group he was putting together. And of course, I checked him out on LinkedIn because I didn't think there was anybody that was as talented as Dr. Bach. If you look Dr. Bach up on LinkedIn, he's like a rock star. So I got these two rock stars together, and I'm so happy. I haven't met everybody, but I always look at people's eyes, and there's so much kindness and wisdom and compassion in everybody. From Julio, Pavel, I was excited to listen to the interview you did with Bach as well. All of you, I've tried to listen to all the interviews, and I am so humbled, to be with you guys. Even though I have 50 years experience, I'm looking forward to the next 50 years of experience. And it is, I'm so happy to be able to start out this year, even though it's been a very challenging year, with so much hope, just because our two groups have gotten together. And the things that are in this book, it's compassion, it's the dedication that everybody has in this group. The honesty and ethics, is stated by everybody from their experiences and how they operate their businesses and life. The sharing and mentoring that we can do for the younger doctors. And I just wrote down a few notes. The thing that I liked about the Global Summit was that we would be able to show our colleagues a procedure, so we see one, then the colleague will learn to perform one, and then we will teach many. And so we now have the opportunity of 2.2 million growing every day of people we can share our knowledge with. And so I'm just excited to be part of this group, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. With this, I'd like to bring a guest of honor, Dr. Shah, who, with a lot of enthusiasm and energy, brought us together. Dr. Shah is a dentist, expert in pathology, but his work has brought 2.2 million peers together. Dr. Shah, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for having me at this very highly respectable meeting with esteemed colleagues. My name is Kianor Shah. I'm a general dentist and an implantologist. My interest in this particular book goes back to about 2014, 2013, late 2013, early 2014. When I got involved in the financial technology sector, where they implemented lean mean systems between a borrower and a lender, and this system eliminated all the third parties in the equation. It was a direct system, and they call it peer-to-peer. and it exploded in the last 5 years. You guys are probably familiar with things like blockchain and then Bitcoin and this and that. That idea transferred into healthcare to be able to create lean systems between doctors to maximize efficiency. We started thinking about involving the entire globe on a much larger scale. The world's top 100 doctors were selected by the regions that came out of a global summit in Los Angeles, and we went to 72 countries and selected respected leaders and people in a position of authority that are doctors in our industry. Dr. Ouellette was one of the nominated and elected top 100 doctors in 2021 and 2020. And it was not like one of those where you buy a plaque for $49. There was no money exchange between anyone. Everybody donated their time. And we worked really hard to put that together and bring a system of collaboration immediately into 70-some countries. Thereafter, 3 months thereafter, COVID happened. I can't still decide if COVID was good or bad for our industry because everything got rebooted. Everyone was sitting at home, and about a week into COVID, we decided, hey, our 100 colleagues that we have connected to start this peer-to-peer platform, the first one of its kind in the healthcare industry, are all sitting at home. All of our colleagues are sitting at home. Instead of having a meeting in November in Los Angeles, why don't we bring them all up into the webinar room and start having them all speak? So we did 45 days continuous, and several of those individuals are actually on the call here: Pavel, Dr. Bhasin, Dr. Preetinder. 45 days of continuous webinars from every discipline of dentistry, including pedo and you name it. And Dr. Ouellette was one of the 2 orthodontists actually that brought us the world of orthodontics. And that suddenly exploded into a daily viewership of sometimes over 150,000 colleagues from across the world. Once we pulled up the records, short of a few countries in Africa, we touched every populated continent and country in the world. And then the introductions came to Dr. Bach to help us tell our story, including his story, on what he has achieved from the dental chair and what we can achieve all together, which is a very powerful idea. In fact, the theory is that if doctors create this kind of a system from every aspect of the supply chain, that doctors would be, doctor-to-doctor systems would be very, very well respected and received. The people respect us. They respect doctors. They don't respect politicians. They don't respect lobbyists. They don't respect corporate executives. They respect doctors. And it could stand a chance to be the most powerful entity on earth. Thank you, Dr. Neigen, for allowing us to take the next step in that direction.
Dr. Shah, this is where it's coming from, our title, The Power of Doctors. With this, I have to bring now the light on my partner in crime in this book, Dr. Pavel Krastev, who joined out of the blue. He received a mail saying that, do you want to write a book? And say, you sure? And then he looked in my eyes and he said that, but Bach, you know, I never wrote a book. I have 9 patents, but let's do it, man. Let's do it. Dr. Pavel, how was your experience?
Oh boy. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Bach. Thank you, Dr. Kianor Shah. Thank you to Paul for making the initial introductions, for me and Dr. Bach to meet, for Kianor and us to formulate this beautiful friendship with. I'd like to say a few things. I don't usually rehearse these interviews. I speak from the heart. So let me start by saying this. Most of us have a pretty extensive experience in dentistry and in our profession. And, you know, we have a responsibility to our younger colleagues coming out of school. And, you know, we have a hard task ahead to guide them and to guide our peers and our doctors and our friends, not to make the mistakes we made. I started with no money, and essentially I had really no one to guide me. For many years, I spent my life being in my little box, practicing, coming home, and being afraid to express myself, and being sort of, I shouldn't say afraid, rather I didn't know how to do it. And then I met you, Dr. Bach, and one thing led to another, and here we are. I mean, I never imagined in a million years that I would be co-authoring a book with you, or even writing a chapter in a book for that matter. But, it happened so fast, so beautifully. And, many of us have emotions, we have feelings, we interpret dentistry in our profession in our own way. And sometimes we want to write notes, we want to express our feelings, but yet we don't know how to do it. And this is where the miracle of meeting you, now I tell the world I call you a brother for life, just the same way I do with Kianor and all of you guys here. You're brothers and sisters to me, and we're on a mission to share with the globe our experience, good and bad, and we're here to hopefully guide our colleagues across the world in bettering themselves, in growing. And speaking of growing is a task that is endless. There is so much information. For example, when I graduated dental school, if someone would have told me that we would have the technology and the social media leverage that we have today to do what we're doing currently with global summits and with you, Dr. Bach, I would say, it's not possible. But when you look back and you see where we are today, it blows your mind. It's a power of sharing. It's a power of collaborating together with each other, and ethically and professionally helping steer the industry in dentistry and medicine amongst all of our colleagues, hygienists, office managers, the specialties of all walks of life. We're here to share, to collaborate, and to grow together as a unit. And one thing that I must say, at least this is my personal opinion, when you're one person and you want to change something, no one unfortunately listens. But when we have a group of strong and ethical and professional people on one platform, or us globally sharing multiple platforms as Global Summits is doing these days, and growing little by little, I shouldn't say little by little because that's a bad word, we are actually exploding. All right. So it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to verbalize my feelings on many levels regarding my personal life, regarding my professional life. So this is a platform that on so many levels can benefit our entire globe. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, there's two ways of looking at it. We got hit with a massive problem across the globe. It hits in waves. It does not discriminate, and I want to expand on that for a moment. All of us across the world have shared tragedies. We've shared good things, bad things, but sometimes events happen, and they happen today, and they finish tomorrow, and then we can reinvent ourselves and reboot, as Dr. Bach like to very often mention. But it's very difficult. Don't mind the fire alarm here, guys. There's a fire alarm going on. So anyhow, it's very difficult to reboot and restart everything. But when we get together as a team across the world, it's an easier challenge to do. So this COVID crisis, destroyed all of us. I mean, dentistry and medicine and the whole world has to reinvent themselves with how we conduct our businesses, with how we function in society. And it's not easy for all of us. But yet, when you have a team of loving people together, there's no stopping us. I mean, we're a force not to be reckoned with. We love people. We're compassionate, and we're here to help. All right, so it's a pleasure. It's an honor that I have this opportunity to join in the force. And God bless you all and love you all. And I turn over the mic to you, Dr. Bach.
So as you can see, it wasn't hard to empower Pavel. All you had to do is start. I have to say that I had a lot of pleasure discovering who you are. Again, we never met in real life, but I think that now I know more about you than people you meet every day. And this is what is so special about writing books. It's very personal. To write a book is personal. You open your heart, you open yourself up, and to be able to do this without boundaries, without frontier, without even time zone, it's fantastic. On this, I have to say that you've been my co-author, but this book will not have been the same, with the same depth, with the same richness, without all of our guest authors. With this, I'd like to pass the mic to, you're the dean of a group. She's a woman. We empower women here. what we hold dear, it's what's inside of a heart and what's inside of a mind. I've been very moved by her chapter, saying that she was from the beginning always fighting just to prove her worth, to prove her place. Today, she's at the head of one of our dentistry company who's going to lead us into the future. And without further ado, Dr. Maria Kunstadter, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for having us, and delightful to be with everybody. I think the other two women had their fingers on, is he talking about me? Because as a female, this is a fabulous collaboration. And as the founder of the Teledentist, I think listening to what everybody said, I see Dentistry 2020 going forward when we bring a group together like this to move the power of our profession forward. And then with teledentistry and the technology, we all went into dentistry to help patients. And now we can use that technology to reach out to more people to get access to dental care. And so I see this as a very exciting time for dentistry. I tell people in the United States when I talk to them that we're not doing a very good job when 180 million people won't see a dentist this year. It was 125 last year, but with COVID, they expect 180 million people won't see a dentist this year. And so, the collectively worldwide as a group, if we can change the face of dentistry, which we are, I've been changing the face of dentistry since I started dental school, and when only 3% of practicing dentists were women when I started. And Paul, you probably didn't have any women in your class in dental school. And I talked to the woman in Portugal, and she said there were no women in dentistry in Portugal back in the day. So I see changing the face of dentistry means many things. It's using technology to educate, which is teledentistry, is education with telecommunications. I mean, it's all, we now have the technology, and we now have a group here, and we have the ability to reach out to each other and to patients more effectively and easily in their homes, so we can help educate ourselves and patients on oral health and improvement. And I think that we will change the face of what dental practices look like, what dentists look like, what dentists are doing, and what patient care looks like moving forward. And I could go on for hours, but I'm going to stop now and thank everybody for being part of this great group. I'm so excited. Thank you, Dr. Bach. I really appreciate this. And let's keep this dynamic group moving forward to change the face of the dental profession, to be collaborative for the betterment of our profession. I think that I'm off my soapbox. It is Sunday morning. I don't want to get too preachy. Thanks again. I appreciate the opportunity.
With this, that I have to share a story that when we decided to start this book, it was our interview, and it was almost a joke. I'm pretty sure that if you watch the interview that Kianor and I did, I said that I have to write 7 books. He was laughing, saying, "Yeah, this guy is just crazy." And we made this one happen, and I'm 2 weeks late. I'm so sorry. But you always have doubt, saying that are people going to join? Now that COVID has started to resume a little bit, our life is taking over. And now I'd like to bring an overachiever on board. He was the first one sending me his chapter, making me believe in that, oh yeah, we can make this happen. There's real power behind this. Dr. Krell, coming from New Jersey, he's busy like hell. He's involved in more than, I think, 10 companies. And please correct me if I'm wrong. He has shared with me so many tools, business, way to look forward into the future for our profession. But he took the time to write us a chapter, and he was the first one to send it. Dr. Krell, welcome, and thank you so much for your support and empowerment.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Dr. Bach, and to everybody who came together to make this book and this experience happen. I didn't know I was the first to send the chapter in, I think, until right now. So those are big shoes to fill. Thank you for that and for letting me know. Yeah, I tend to be quick on the mouse these days. I run after a 2-year-old. That's really my biggest project of all projects. And I have built my portfolio. I have about 15 companies now. That I'm involved with at various stages, not all, active roles. Some are much more passive, but certainly keeps me busy. So I'm a general dentist, just for, background, and for those that I haven't met personally, and nice to meet all of you. I'm a general dentist. I've practiced for the better part of the decade between Chicago and New Jersey. And I've spent really most of my career kind of more on the business side. I have an MBA. And startups are kind of my bread and butter. So kind of product and service companies that are early stage. And I think, and it's interesting in this chapter, Dr. Bach, challenged me to think about, what does our profession look like now? What does it take to move forward through this crisis? And I spoke kind of about 3 things in the chapter. One of them was really hope. I think we all need to have hope. To restore our profession back to the self-regulating, centralized power that it once was. There's really nobody else looking into, kind of oral health or, how that fits into the rest of the body. It's painstaking to me. My wife is a nurse, and my family's full of medical professionals, and they get the tiniest little, despite what some, educational facilities are out there touting, they get the tiniest little drop of information about the mouth. So if it's not us, then who else is it, right? It really is just us, covering oral health. So I think we have to have a lot of hope, that together we can pull in numbers and, and restore this profession. I think it also comes down to the tools that are at our disposal, and that's why I put so much time and energy into this portfolio of companies, because I think it's important that tools be founded by providers for providers, rather than having other professions sort of come in and look. Ideas are always welcome, feedback is always welcome from inside and outside of the industry, but I think at a certain point we do need to be cognizant of what is the provider's perspective, right? We have a lot of issues in our industry. Just think about any process end to end in your office. It takes 5, 6, 7, 8 different platforms to do, and they don't look good, right? The UI UX is not good, right? I always level set with people outside the industry. Remember MS-DOS, right? Kind of like that. And they don't talk to each other, right? They're not seamless integrations. And that's a real problem because, in the dental office, you have a very regimented operational throughput, that you're following. And if things do not seamlessly integrate, then they're just not going to be used. So all these new product and service companies, great new ideas that come out, but they require a major behavioral change, by the office or by the provider. And that's just a massive gap. So I focus in on, with my portfolio, that gap. I focus in on the gap between really small companies and really large ones, the insurers, the DSOs, the distributors, the manufacturers. How do we close that gap and bring them closer together? And I think in the chapter, I zoom in on one of my companies, Verena Solutions. I'm actually going to be taking a more active role with coming soon, that does focus on helping companies to kind of rapidly prototype and go through the early stage development process. And then last but not least, kind of the evolution, moving forward. We can't be resistant to change. We can't be, afraid of what the momentum we build is going to bring. Our profession is going to morph. It is going to evolve. Hopefully it becomes, considered, rather than this, sort of niche specialty off to the side, it becomes a central part of primary care, right? And receives kind of the attention and the funding and the energy that it should from inside our dental community, as well as, from the broader healthcare community. So to everybody, thank you for all your contributions. To Dr. Bach, thank you for bringing everybody together. Really appreciated the opportunity and looking forward to more.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bach, president of MDEX & Co. This is a new social and economic pact for the dental industry. My industry faces many challenges. In this time of crisis, the challenges has risen all at once, and now we can't ignore them anymore. Everything is too clear, everything is painful, and they all need to be addressed right away. The COVID crisis has put everything on pause. As dentists, we were the first one who has to respond to that pause. The emergency is barely to the minimum. It's about 5%, even less of our care. So many have been shut down for more or less 3 or 4 weeks now. This has brought to my attention all the challenges that my profession faces. I try to comfort my team. I try to fight for them, to give them some resources. Then I try to fight for my peers, working with the associations and with the organization in place. Well, we understood that we were left aside. And on top of it, we don't have the sympathy of the population. In this unique time of crisis, we had an article coming out explaining our position and explaining also that we have been left with nothing. And the population raised their voice against us. This is why when I'm talking to my colleagues and myself, we have personal testimonial of patients say, how are you guys doing? You need help. On a day-to-day basis, I think that we are appreciated by the people that we treat. But in a broader sense, I don't think that the population likes dentists that much. And this is a huge PR problem. What we see, the governments started to. We lost our voice and our leverage. To be honest, the dental industry has been an independent word until lately, especially in Canada. It's hard for our small team to rise up to make a difference. At this stage, we need something wider, something bolder to raise up. We have to listen to the population. Well, they're saying that we've been too expensive for too long. What they don't get, it's we have many a hospital to run. It's all coming back to the fact that we have too much infrastructure on the ground. And by the time that this crisis will unpause, all this infrastructure will have to be upgraded all at once to now face a new standard post-COVID. Who's going to pay for it? So when you think of it, dental fees will be even more expensive. That doesn't make sense. Nobody will be happy about it. So that's coming back to the fact that we have to learn to come as an industry and start sharing resources. Not just get more into debt, have our own resource, and operate them about a quarter of the time. So this crisis brought to my attention that what we're doing here is not just commerce. It's not just try to gain market share. It's a way to reform an industry in crisis and that faces more than one challenge. We need leadership, we need vision, and also we need the will to make a difference.
So how do you stand out between 15 companies? 9 patterns. Now you have to run. All you have to do is to run. And this is what's cool about connecting. It's since we not jealousing each other, it's like, okay, you inspire me. Let me try to do something to have something to talk about. Talking about first, now we're gonna go to India. I was a little insecure, and I'm not somebody who's insecure, but to just join in force with people I never met before, that share the same passion with you, it's always something new. And I have to tell you that you were the second person I met after Dr. Shah. And you brought so much warmth to this. Say, I can make this work. This is gonna be fun. Joining us from India, Professor Dr. Prashant. Thank you for being with us. Dr. Bhasin?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, very good morning to. I always say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I think now this is the part of us. I think those Kianor, Dr. Pavel, Dr. Preetinder, all and Dr. Beg, we all had been working, and this 4 words has actually changed the life of all us. And to share. And before I start, I would like to thank Dr. Beg, Dr. Paul, Dr. Pavel, Dr. Kianor, Dr. Preetinder, all the people who are around, like we have got together and with one zeal, as I always say, sharing and developing. That's what I always say. The more you share, the more you develop. And I am actually blessed to be the part of this team because I think this team has everything what we look for. Number one, experience of elders. Number two, their energy of ours. And number three, Dr. Beck, who is the man who is taking care and who is taking us to the next level. And being a part of it, I really like to thank Dr. Kianor for actually when we joined and he gave me this opportunity to become the part of the Global Summit and take the responsibility to be as the chair of the International Cooperation Committee. Indeed, it was a responsibility and definitely a task, and we are trying our level best to do it. And at the end of the day, what we all believe in is that learning and sharing is a continuous process. The more you share, the more you learn. And that's what we had been learning from all our peers, probably I'll say. And the more we share, we reach to our peers. And I think the bond, now what people are looking into is a bond, which is actually missing between people to people. And luckily, the group what we have, or I will say the blessing what we have with all of you on board is like living that dream what you dream of. So when you dream of a dream and it starts becoming true, I think like after every challenge, there is an opportunity. I think that's what we believe in. And I always, as Dr. Beck knows, I have one saying which I always say, the ball should keep rolling. That's very important, whether the time is tough or not. And that's what we had been doing it. So it's indeed a pleasure. I'm working as a professor and head of the department in endodontics at a university in Delhi with the experience of almost now it's been 17 years. And still going on till the time we can. And I think with the seniors and all the like the torch leaders are there, and Dr. Paul, Dr. Kianor, Dr. Pavel, they are the people who will guide us, and the energy what we have, let's take it to the next level of excellence that we are looking for. And before I end, I would like to thank each and every one for you. I'm humbled and grateful to all of you from my heart for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
But I have to say, you know, that you're warm. Make me believe in this. We can make this happen even if we're from two different continents with different culture.
Yeah.
But I think that being doctor, we're all the same at the end of the day.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Talking about first, and this person is very special. You know that, again, I was insecure, and it's not like me to be insecure, but to connect with so many people all at once and to make this happen in 2 weeks. You know that when people say that you write a book in 2 weeks, they say that you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And after I appear on an interview with Dr. Bhasin, I think that brought real substance into this. So from the other end of the world, somebody else was writing to me and we had a hard time connecting. We were just sending a line after the next on Facebook Messenger, and I was in between patient and say, okay, let's just hit the button of chat and let's see if that can work. And before I introduce him, I have to tell you that usually I'm not surprised by many things because I've met so many people, met so many high achiever, overachiever, but this person is a gold medalist. And I say, wow, what kind of gold medalist is he and what can he bring on the table? So we chat for a few minutes between my patients saying that, okay, this is how we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna just schedule for an interview. Usually interviews is where I learn to connect with people, and also I try to empower them and motivate them, say, yeah, let's bring this to the next level. Let's write a chapter. My surprise that our interview was just due in about 2 days from there. 4 hours later, I received a chapter from Professor Dr. Preetinder Singh, gold medalist. I went through the chapter, and I can tell you now I understand why he's a gold medalist. Professor Preetinder Singh, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us.
It's my pleasure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Beck. And I can see many seniors and colleagues and technicians here. Nothing so yeah, the gold medal is special, as Back is telling, but I am a very normal person to all of you. And yes, it did happen that when I chatted with Back, he something mentioned about the chapter, and I don't know. I just told Back as well in my earlier interview with him that I just thought of finishing it. I couldn't. The moment he told me we had to write something related to the power of a doctor, something happens to me, and I thought, let's do it. Let's finish it. I started jotting down few points, slept a while, got up again, finished the book right away in 5 hours. The chapter, not the book, sorry, the chapter in 5 hours. I just wanted, because I had the views in my mind. So I thought maybe it doesn't should be swept away. So I just wrote what came to my mind, and there were a lot of pages which I sent to Back, and oh wow, it's a chapter now. It was a great experience. I loved it. I love doing it. As he's telling about the medalist thing, yeah, got a gold medal for my clinical work and academics. Working as a periodontist and implantologist now, and also as a professor in PERU, and I am a hardcore clinician also. Now, apart from that, Dr. Kianor Shah, we've been doing, I think, work since 3 months almost. We are sharing every part of dentistry to the world. Dr. Back, in the book, you must have read a mention about Dr. Kianor Shah's contribution, how we made this platform. And again, with Dr. Kianor, also, I chatted the same way on Facebook Messenger. It happened. And then we shared emails. And now I am also chairing the public relations, international public relations and journalism at the Global Summit. And, Kianor makes my hand, always on the sharing button that, Preetinder, you're going to share it to the world. And I'm doing it I'm not doing it with force. I'm doing it with pleasure, with confidence, and I'm loving it. The feedbacks we are getting about our podinars, our free webinars during this COVID thing is tremendous. People are learning from the best, and this is going. I'm seeing a lot of scope post-COVID as well. What Kianor has started, I don't know what he dreamt of. The way I wrote a chapter, he has dreamt of something on this dental platform. And Dr. Prashant and me, we talk on phone quite often. We talk behind Kianor's back, yes, and we share and we share that, oh yeah, how we are going to deal with this, and we both are doing it as a team from India, getting very good results. I'm proud of Prashant, proud of Kianor and our Global Summit team, and Dr. Paul Ouellette. Really heard a lot about you, and to see you in person, my very warm regards to you, sir. Read a lot about you, heard from Back as well. Dr. Duc, your picture is on the ALPHAS with me, next to you. So that's also a great thing. Pavel, you were not on the seat. So Pavel is a great motivator. He comes in between, jokes for a while, and he makes our mood again. So we are on the work, and Karina, she is a beautiful face on the just now. She gives a very nice motivation on every post of our Global Summit. And I'm very happy to meet the new faces here: Jeremy, Dr. Agatha, and the tele-dentist, ma'am. I just heard you. You are great. You are quite senior. Dr. Julio. Okay, Julio, I don't know. I need to know whether you are a doctor yet. But Dr. Back, as I saw your profile, your books coming up, and I don't know, you just get up in the morning and you see 2 books coming out of Dr. Back. This is the enthusiasm the world needs. This is the enthusiasm the dentists also need. And we are so proud, I think, Kianor, we are so proud to have our statements in the book. The world is seeing, obviously the world is seeing it daily. The world is seeing on every weekend what we are sharing. But to have it in this book, that is, something permanent, people can read. I think sometimes we will be history as well. Yeah, Dr. Kianor, Prashant, Preetinder, Back, Pavel, they did something in COVID which helped, blah, blah, blah. So I would like to conclude. Dr. Back, thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to write a chapter, and I'm going to write another chapters again in few days as well. I'll keep on the same pace. And lastly, cheers to Kianor Shah. The Global Summit team is going to rock the world with the free knowledge as we are doing it, and we'll continue doing it. Pavel, I love your thumbs up. Cheers back.
Thank you so much.
How can you
Thank you
even
so
slow
much.
down with people like this? It's impossible.
He is well prepared in his message. Wanted to also add that Dr. Bhasin and Dr. Singh and Dr. Pavel are extremely active within the organization, and you guys are all invited. Everyone on this call is invited to consult with Dr. Bhasin and to do a podium with us. And
We are looking for next 14. We already have next 14 with us.
Yeah, let's have from them. This is a very nice team I see here.
Yes.
Before I pass on the mic, there is a quote of Dr. Preetinder Singh that I like to share with everybody. He said that in India, doctors are healers, and healers are second only to the gods. So if you're looking for power and empowerment, please sleep on that. You know that to make a book and to make also so many people to come and to join harmoniously takes a lot of intelligence, takes a lot of dedication. And talking about intelligence, one of our colleague has think forward in time, saying that we need help. And this was before COVID. Let's bring artificial intelligence into our field. So he's leading the AI of the field. He is super busy. He is a neurosurgeon. But last time that we spoke on screen on a summit, he said that we should do this once a month. You just got your wish granted. Dr. Eric Pulver, thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you so much for taking the time to write a chapter and to share your knowledge. Dr. Pulver, welcome.
Thank you, Bach. And it's great to be here with all of you today. You know, I think that, and thanks for putting this together and taking the time to talk. When I think about the chapter that we talked about, the power of doctor, I think it's beyond the doctor, and it's about doing the things that we're doing today. And it's the energy behind taking the time to meet new people, to share ideas, and make a single person have the ability to have a global impact on overall health and wellness. And also to raise the bar of dentistry to a level that we can become leaders in improving global health. And I think that it's really important what we do every day when we treat our patients one-on-one. People will say, hey, Dr. Pulver, how come you want to do all these other things? Aren't you getting enough out of the patient care that you deliver every day? And I do, and I think we all look at it that way. But as we do this and we gain experience, and sometimes I think, why didn't I do this 25 or 30 years ago? And I think I didn't have the experience to understand what had to be done. And I don't know that I personally have that, but collectively, we have a much better opportunity to make those changes happen. It's kind of like a drop in a pond, a ripple that goes across the world, right? And I think it's those bonds that are created through the tragedy of COVID that have changed. And I think that it's important that we keep moving forward with that. And having said that, my background is a little bit interesting because my father was a pediatric dentist. My uncle is an endodontist. My father was involved in the International Association of Pediatric Dentists. So I saw the impact that people could have in sharing ideas from all over the world. I'm originally from Toronto and I'm living in Chicago. I teach a course with a group of people down at Indiana University. I've always been in education. And we go and we give back a day a month to the graduating students. And basically it's about, we don't know what we don't know. And like someone mentioned earlier, Pavel, I think you mentioned it, we want people to not have to make the same mistakes that we made. And we just happen to be lucky enough to figure out a solution. So if we can start further ahead, who knows what we can do to help and mentor the people, our peers and students coming into our profession. So I think we together can make some really important changes. And it happens to be that innovation and technology, it's almost like a gold rush, right? When people would go out to mine gold, these things are happening and they're changing rapidly. And I think that with the situation we've just been faced with, we're looking at a digitalization in the workflow to teledentistry or virtual dentistry. We're looking at needing adaptive leadership that can take these changes and understand how important they can be to our profession and run with them. And we've almost had this falling forward into the future with COVID, where we've taken the drape away and we've gotten to peek at the future or what the future could be. And we talk about a reboot, but if you look at a lot of the statistics that are going on now, it shows that we're almost resetting back to where it was or relapsing. And we need to make sure that we look at those opportunities and push forward and incorporate them. And in doing that, it'll help us to link the oral systemic health links. If you have no teeth and you're not chewing your food, you're not digesting, and your gut biome is different, inflammation and age-related illnesses. And we can start off by looking at what computer vision did. And it got me interested in artificial intelligence and machine learning and connecting with some game changers in this space who are doing research and developing programs to help augment our providers' ability to give great care to our patients and to link all the information coming at us so quickly that we can't possibly keep up, to help us understand what directions to take and say, hey, look over here as an assistant or look over there. And I think that it's the beginning of being able to provide enhanced care, utilizing machine learning and artificial intelligence and wearables and different types of technology. So it's a spectacularly interesting time to be in our profession. And I think that it's a good time to be able to share this with everybody to help guide it into our profession in the right way, because it's a bigger job than one person. It's something we all have to do, and we all have to learn from each other. And I think collectively we can do it. So I think it's spectacular, Bach and Kianor, for you guys to have put the group together, and for everyone that I'm hearing supporting that movement, because it's something we have to do together. We have to do it globally. And if the politicians can't get together and unify in a global pandemic, someone's got to do it. And I think that if we show that leadership, maybe it will spill off into other professions and other businesses, and together we can make the change that people will remember. So I'm honored to be just a small part of this and to be included. And thanks, Bach, for reaching out, and all you guys for doing what you're doing. So I could keep going on, but I'll stop here. Thank you.
So if I heard correctly, you'll be coming back, right, for another book?
Yeah, I'm writing the books in my head. It's just, I need to get one of those implantable devices that takes my thought and puts it onto paper.
Please invent that. I need one of those.
I've been talking with a few people that are doing some research in that space right now. It's pretty interesting, but it'll be a while.
And if you do, please send one to Kianor. I want his transcript too. So before, we was struggling with science and being human. Now you just add on top of that technology. We have to be damn smart to survive the future.
Yeah.
With this, I bring back with me an old partner in crime. We're talking about science and humanity. We wrote my 65 books together, Midas Touch. He's a dean in continuous education in Peru. The man, it's all about technology, about entrepreneurship, but he has such a kind heart, saying that dentistry should be humane. And we wrote a whole book together. with Dr. Ouellette. So with this being Julio Reynafarje, thank you so much for always being there, whatever the time, wherever the place, you're there.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you all, guys. I'm honored to be here in this group, and I'm very, very happy to be part of a Power of Doctor. Why? Because I understand that with all this pandemic and all things that happen around the world, we have to take a better view of what we do in our offices. So when I reach into my office, I have a few talks with many doctors, and the way we are looking at our patients is totally different now. We're patient-centered, and now we are looking at the patient, and we talk to the patient, and when we talk to them, we see how they feel, see how they are traveling, and how they are working with this pandemic and these new times that we are living right now. I think also that when we talk about new technologies and new things, we have to be centered also in what we do. What we do is healthcare, and we have to care about people. And what we do with new technologies is how to make a better care for these people who are coming to our offices and come to see us to make them feel better. That's the whole idea. As Eric told us, I'm also, my father was a dentist also. He was an endodontist. And he told me many things. With this, and when he was always being, as I told in my chapter in the book, and I would see how the patients were looking at him, and how they care about him, because he also has to reach and get very close with their patients. So the idea is not only to see the patient, we are going to see the patients in a different way. And we also, in this kind of book that we are writing right now and we are preparing right now, peer-to-peer, is we have to take care of our peers also. We have to teach them. I've been teaching for about almost maybe 18 years. And what I see in every student and what I see in everyone who reach for what we have to teach to them is that we have to learn from the past to see into the future. And that's the way I see dentistry. And that's why in my chapters, if you read some of my chapters, I always talk about people who left us with something, you know, like William Shakespeare or whatever, or Darwin or whoever live. And we have a lot of, we are living their experiences and we're living their thoughts. And we are looking to the future, and we are also looking in what is going to come. And I think technology is so exciting. I see many things. I'm also and I'm working with new technologies. I'm trying to develop it, a new ecosystem right here in Peru and Latin America. And it's very exciting. We are going to have a lot of fun in the future with all these new technologies to take care of people and to help many people. That is what we are made for, and that's the power of doctor. That's the idea. Thank you very much, back. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Julio. I have to say, and I'd like to thank you in front of everyone. It's you are a rock. You are stable. You are just as meticulous as a clock. And every time that I'm falling behind, I have a message from you say, all right, so where are we, Doc? Always with kindness. And I think that this is one of the power that a doctor has, is we are so consistent. We're so resilient. And this book is all about powers of doctors. But amongst those, the power that we need flexibility. We need the ease to operate, And we need also the speed and the humility to readapt all the time. On this, I'd like to bring somebody very special, even faster than I am. Within the COVID crisis, within 2 weeks, he reinvented himself and put out a technology company, teledentistry, to compete with Marriott. No, that's not true. But it's not even the reason why he's here today. He's here because that he's so easy to work with, always consistent, always there. Dr. Lam-Do, welcome. And please, if you'd like to share with us your thought from your vacation.
Vacation being my deck, right? That's the only vacation I got this week. So hi everybody. Really, it's a pleasure. It's an honor to be here. Everybody must be so busy, you know, these past weeks, and I've been following a little bit of what you guys did. We've been connecting with some as well on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So it's been great in that aspect to learn a bit more about you. I've on my side, I've been a general dentist for 17 years, and you know, I just love everything about it, right? I mean, I'm a general dentist who tackles a lot of disciplines in dentistry, and don't get me wrong, as much as I like, you know, sculpting the anatomy on my occlusal filling on the posterior molar, there have been some fields that I've been doing a little bit more in the last couple of years, in surgery. So two things that I do a little bit more at my office that might be a bit particular for some is I treat a lot of babies. I treat tongue tie. So we have a tongue tie multidisciplinary clinic at the office, working with physicians, lactation consultants, and osteopath to rehabilitate newborns who have issues with latching, amongst other things. And another discipline also that I'm very fond of is sleep. There's a lot of people who do not know that dentists are involved in those fields, and it's always surprising, even, you know, last few meetings that we went, that indeed there really is not a big basis in our discipline. So it's definitely something that should come up more. But through meetings like these with Dr. Bach, who I don't know how he does it to put it up together throughout all of this, but we're able to, you know, bring more awareness. And so he was talking about teledentistry. It's, you know, one thing that I'm very fond of at the office, and at the office is my wife, who's the other dentist, and myself, is since we're that close office, we're very proud to being very, very connected with the patients. And through the crisis that happened, one of the things was that we couldn't get a hold, and some people were in fact in need. You know, we got regulations in Quebec, as in many other places, regarding certain types of treatments that we were able to provide. And so the idea was, well, how do we get in contact with them, right? And so the meetings of Zoom that we're doing right now, it's something also that we did at the office. You know, we put up just patient education forums. And, you know, I would see patients just like I'm seeing you guys right at this point, talking about different fun topics, like how to take care of your teeth at home, what to do when you're in pain, and things like that. So those little capsules allowed us to be in connection with them. But yeah, I mean, this that we're doing is, you know, teledentistry. You know, I mean, we can at this point plan a very complex treatment plan on 11 o'clock a Sunday morning, and meeting all of you professionals and specialists around the world. And there's a Facebook page which some of you are aware of. It's called RIPE, Restorative Implant Practice Excellence, and that's basically what's happening, you know. And I think they reached a couple months ago the plateau of 70,000 members. But now with the global summit, I'm aware you guys are in contact with 2 million. So the outreach is very considerable. And, you know, I'm just happy to be part of this, to be able to co-author with you, Dr. Bach, with certain of these books. I'm certainly looking forward for more opportunities like these ones. You know, it's funny, my wife has always wanted to publish, and I got a little head start. I won't get her into that, but thank you guys. It's been good to connect. I'm definitely looking forward to shake your hands when all of this settles and we're able to meet someplace.
About shaking hands, you know that you and I are from the same city. We should meet if you want your book, because I won't be mailing that one.
No, you can save your stamp on that one. I'll buy you a beer.
And everyone heard it, right? Keep paying.
Fine.
So we're under siege, but we're gonna win this one. In this unique time, it's a little unreal. Our economy has been put in pause. The next threat coming is a global recession. I refuse to believe that with all of us, all our intelligence, all of us staying at home right now, we cannot do something to avoid the crisis coming. For the first time in history, all interests align. We even have a month in front of us to prepare for what's coming. If we stand together, we have a chance through this, not just to recoup what's been lost, but to build stronger, to build better, to build taller. We can't leave anyone behind. So it is the great time for us to rethink how we operate, to rebuild better, to incorporate at the center, at the core of what we are, community and society. In time of crisis, it is the best time to reinvent yourself. So do it. I shaved my head. Why I did so? Because I wanted to make a point that our economy has been rebooted and we'll have to reboot all the system. While we're doing so, why not upgrade them to the new era, the information era, the millennials era, to the social network media. In this time of age, know that a teenager with a cell phone can beat a multi-million-dollar campaign? We have to readjust, or not, we are condemned to disappear. We will all stand together, united, to look forward, better, stronger, and all together. If you shave your head in the idea of rebooting, and let's make this a movement of unity. I'm Dr. Bach. Welcome to the ALPHAS. #reboot.
You know, when we talk about powers of doctors, we take all of our lives and passion to heal others. We are second to nobody but the gods. And I'm quoting here. But there's always something else that is often an issue. It's we need healing too. And on this, I like to bring with you a courageous soul, a doctor, but she took the opportunity to open up and to just break the wall of silence that more than just appearing glorious, appearing perfect, always being the best, always beating the means and the average, and to deliver always and always. Dr. Agatha took the opportunity not to talk about herself, not to talk about her accomplishment, but to talk about our need to come together to heal one another. Dr. Bis, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Bach, and everybody else. And thanks for having me as part of this forum. I have no idea, Bach, what I deserve to do this and why you actually allowed me to join this group. But I'm very grateful to be part of this. And I feel like, especially at this time, with COVID and with all the changes and all the stresses that we're all feeling, I am really grateful to be a part of this. And I feel like it's kind of a healing moment for me as well. I feel like, you know, as dentists, we're so alone in many ways when we practice in our, you know, box of an office and our box of a treatment room. And I just feel like we don't really share with others the stresses that we put up with on a daily basis. And I also feel like the general public really doesn't understand sort of our commitment and our dedication and also our challenges. And so with COVID, as you all know, I had a bit of a breakdown, I guess you could call it, and really questioned whether or not I can stay in this profession much longer. COVID kind of brought out a silence and a calm in me that I hadn't felt in a very long time. And when we started going back to work, I felt like the stress came back. But it came back tenfold. And so I wasn't sure if I could actually endure another 25 years of feeling it again. So I'm kind of on the fence right now whether or not I can continue. And I'll be very honest in the sense that I love what I do. But what I don't love is the changing face of patients that we're seeing that are constantly Googling their diagnosis and looking for quick fixes and, you know, thinking that their insurance knows better than we do. And so I find those daily struggles a lot bigger than I used to. And so this book kind of allowed me to express that and really feel it and see if this is something I want to continue doing. So I feel like this group has given me hope that I can probably stay in if I can find a way to connect with others and kind of just feel like I'm not the only one that's feeling what I'm feeling. So thank you for including me in this. And I so appreciate having a support system like that as well.
What do you say to that? Thank you for your come out.
It's so motivating, so inspiring to hear these kind of stories.
Yeah, Dr. Biss, it was really good to hear you. And I got another title of a book for back, The Stresses of a Doctor. I don't mind writing on that.
Please do. I'll be joining.
No, really. As Dr. Biss mentioned, it is, we are dealing with them. Let's jot it down when we have time for that.
There's a mental health care crisis also among especially dentists across the world. That's a very silent epidemic. It's certainly possibly a chapter. Once a life and all of these things come down a little bit for Dr. Bach, we're gonna ask him if he would help us with our second book that describes a lot of these stories that we're hearing now. So a chapter on that might be, there is a mental health problem that is plaguing the industry. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm in on that.
How can I ever say no when you guys all say yes to me on the first phone call? I'm there.
So as soon as life gets down for you, maybe we can start working on the second book.
Call me right after. Put the pressure on me.
Excellent idea.
And Paul, you're not going anywhere. You'll be standing next to me, helping me out. Talking about.
I was going to say that, you know, I have talked. I think that makes sense. That if you bring that to the forefront and you find that people are sharing similar experiences, and you provide solutions and outlets beyond the wellness programs at different state societies, more peer-to-peer, you could probably help a lot of people, you know, and it would be a really nice topic.
On this, I have to say that Dr. Agatha Biss is very humble. She never mentioned what she's doing. She's the president of an institute helping dentists to cope with the reality of business. And she talked about business, but when we met, and this is how we got on so well, I say, she's all about fun. If it's fun, we're going to talk about it. Talking about healing, let me bring you some hope. Through the interview with my co-author, I came to meet with, yes, a beautiful lady, but then she said that she's an MD, and she fell in love with dentistry. And we're not talking about her husband here. So I asked her to take the mic and to share with us her story, saying how come an MD will fall in love with our profession as DMD. And I'll be walking on eggshells here, but for some of us, being a dentist was kind of a second choice because MD was the best rank. And I know that we don't like to talk about it, but that's still a reality. Now we have an MD joining us, share with us how she fell in love with her profession. This should help us heal. Dr. Karina Krastev, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me, Dr. Bach, and thank you for everybody coming together. And it's a pleasure to meet all of you. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you all over the world. So my situation was I finished medical school in 2007. And shortly after, I had met my husband, Dr. Pavel Krastev, and I decided not to pursue medicine, but to work with him in the office and to basically manage and assist him in the world of dentistry, this has just been a very wonderful experience. I love our patients. I love having how to say the connection with our internal medicine doctors. My aunt is an internal medicine doctor. Another aunt of mine is an oncologist. My brother is currently a critical care pulmonologist. So we have medicine, all dentists. So with this whole COVID situation, time for our patients, for us, but we are all managing to try to be positive and to take certain aspects of medicine and combine it with dentistry, as far as different precautions and different situations, where we're able to educate the patients from a dental point of view, medical point of view.
Thank you so much for sharing with us and to bring us the hope that we are doctors, bring a lot of goods in the world. That being said, there are two other colleagues that could not be here with us today. I'm naming Dr. Eric Lacoste and Dr. Raquel Zita Gomes. They asked me to fill in for them, so let's just keep something for our readers. If you want to know what Dr. Lacoste and Dr. Raquel has shared, and I can tell you that it's worth it, you have to read the book. Pavel, this is, it was the introduction. And since you are my partner in crime in this, I'll ask you to fill out my shoes because I'm the host here. I won't say my opinion. I won't say what I'm doing. But I have 3 questions. I'd like to address them to you. And then everybody will feel free to join in. So the power of doctors. To you, what's the power of doctor? What did you gain writing this book? And who will benefit from it?
Oh, it's great questions. The power of doctor is not about, and I'd like to make this very clear. It's not about claiming superiority amongst our colleagues that we're better or someone else is better. It's about sharing. It's about being a noble profession that we have earned by studying many years. And ultimately, we take an oath, which is to serve our patients. And we must always strive to set the bar for our younger colleagues to essentially honor the code of ethics and do what is always in the best interest of our patients. That should be our #1 goal. So we need to educate our patients. We cannot assume that our patients understand dentistry or medicine or whatever we do in life to the same way that professionals understand it. So it is our duty and our obligation to work very closely with our patients, to have a dialogue with our patients, and to guide them, essentially put them on a track of what we as doctors recommend. So this is not as easy as it sounds. Some patients are more receptive, other patients are less receptive. But ultimately, my goal in life is to do things in a proper way with our colleagues. We should all unite. United, we are strong. And united, as we have united here with this book and with global summits, we have an obligation to pitch in a little bit at a time, all of us, as a team, across the globe, so we can give a lending hand to our younger colleagues coming out of school. Let's show them, let's guide them the proper way, which I said initially, not to make the same mistakes we've made. And I tell you something funny. If I had this support group around me 15 years ago, I would have done so many things very differently in my career. But unfortunately, some of us didn't have the social media leverage and technologies 15 years ago and 20 years ago. I mean, I've been practicing for 27 years. I graduated dental school in 1993. So many things have changed. And, you know, ultimately right now it's becoming an era where there is not enough time in a week, in a day, in a month to learn everything. So all of us collectively have different talents. You know, I may know something that you don't know, and Karina may know something that I don't know. And, you know, the power of Doctor is about uniting the globe and sharing our experience, our passions, and, you know, perhaps our expertise to a certain degree. And we have to learn from each other, respect one another, the way colleagues must always do, in my opinion, and grow together. But ultimately, it's our duty as doctors to guide the younger generation that's starting out. Let us hold them by the hands and walk them. And I'll give you a perfect example. When a pilot becomes a pilot, they don't hand them a 747, okay? He starts with a little Cessna. He has a senior instructor. They teach him how to fly. From a little Cessna, you progress to a twin turboprop or whatever, and you start flying jets. And years ago, and I'm sorry I'm drifting off topic here, but it's a point I'd like to make. Years ago, airline captains in the cockpit were always afraid to speak to each other. So, for example, the captain was the captain, and whatever he said was gold. The second officer didn't have any say years ago. Now, many airline crashes occurred as a result of this. And these days, the second officer is always encouraged to pitch in his thoughts in case there's a problem. So what I'm trying to get at is we're not here for our egos. We're not here to have an ego boost. I mean, it's certainly a pleasure to write a book. It certainly stimulates you a little bit in your heart and tickles you. But ultimately, it's about doing the right thing. And, you know, it's all about sharing, collaboration, and not being afraid to speak your mind. Now, regarding sharing our opinions and our beliefs, you know, we have to strive for one thing. We are one big family of professionals across the world, and together we can make a difference. So I hope I answer your question satisfactorily, Dr. Bach.
If you want to know more, you have to read the book. You know my answer. To the question, what's the power of Doctor? Is anybody else who would like to jump in? Please, not.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
He knows music. I was just sitting here, and this is very powerful stuff. Kind of taken aback, but you couldn't have put it better, Dr. Krastev, the way you summarized it.
Thank you, Kianor. Thank you. And, you know, I want to, you know, I like I said, you know, everything in life happens for a reason. And sometimes, I mean, you know, look, I growing up, I was very, for many years, I was very locked into my little box, and I was afraid to explore. And then I meet guys like Dr. Shah, who is, again, and I say this, I don't say this lightly, guys. Dr. Shah and, you know, what he does and the amount of energy that's given freely by him to do what he does is I mean, you know what? I thank you, Dr. Shah, for the energy that you dedicate to make this happen. And all the board regions and all the members and, you know, more importantly, all the peers out there, all of our friends, guys, we're facing some of the biggest challenges in our profession with what's going on across the world on so many different levels, politically, in terms of the COVID crisis. And now what happens? We come together as a family and we help each other and we guide each other. And that's what life is about. You know what? As I always tell my wife, you know, I like to sleep at night and go to sleep saying to myself, this is good. We had a good day. We had a productive day. You know, we're touching, you know, and my motto is this. I spent many years teaching implant surgery at NYU. And, you know, I retired about, I don't know, I guess 2-3 years ago to dedicate more time into other projects that I'm working on. But, you know, ultimately, at the end of the day, is you want to share. Because if we don't share and we don't teach openly, then you know what, we lost the game. So when I have a chance, and I'm so proud to just be here today, to even having this interview and this little discussion amongst our beautiful colleagues, you know, it's a touching moment. If I could touch 1 soul, 2 souls, 3 souls in my life, and maybe they'll remember Pavel in 10 years and say, you know what, these guys taught us something, man, then I'm a success.
So what's the power of DR? Anybody else?
I just want to add a little bit to it because I feel like, you know, the definition of a doctor is to heal or to fix or to restore. And we're always doing that. But I feel like the one piece that's missing is, you know, we were using the analogy is how are we healing and restoring? I mean, when you get on a plane and something happens and the mask falls down, the first thing they tell you is to put it on yourself first before you put it on another person. And yet we never do that. We fix others, but we don't focus on fixing ourselves. And I think that's, for me, more powerful here than with this group of people than anything else that we do is helping each other fix each other before we can give to other people.
You know, I like what you all had to say. It's it almost seems like we have one voice, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that that's how you create change. And you know, I was speaking with my wife the other day, and I was saying, you know, how can, like, I really want to reach out and make a difference, and how can you do that? What do you do to make those changes? And I think that the first step is believing that you can do that, and opening up to opportunities. Like when I was introduced to Bach, or when Jeremy and I first met, or I met Paul or Julio or Maria, and now all of you, is that sometimes when you open your mind up to those opportunities, things present themselves. And if you're willing to step into the arena to play in the game, you have an opportunity to make those changes. And so part of what's special is that we're here today, regardless of the people that we may impact. We've already made an effect together right now. And if we can be lucky enough to stimulate other people, that would be great too. So it's about getting your mind open to things and taking opportunities that can lead us forward to a good future. And it seems like we've taken a first step or a second step today, you know, which is great. Thank you all.
If Donald was with us, he would probably say we should get some hats that say "Make Healthcare Great Again."
Absolutely. Now, can I just interject one little quick thing here? And it's a rather personal thing, but it's a special day. And here's the funny thing. I mean, by coincidence, we ended up doing this session between all the authors together today. It just so happens to be mine and Karina's anniversary today, 12 years of marriage. So, you know, how did it happen that the interview is conducted on the same day? I don't know. It's a miracle of God, the superior powers, the universe. So, honey, happy anniversary. And thank you guys for sharing our special day together. Huh?
That's the power of a good marriage. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to say, I think that what we're all exhibiting here is what I love about being a healthcare provider is we're scientists, and I, you know, dental schools sometimes teach a robot can do an MOD, and we can teach them to do an MOD, but you can't teach a robot to be empathic to the patient's anxiety, you know, what's going on with them physiologically, mentally. And I think that, as you know, what Eric just says, how do you reach out? It's you reach out one at a time and care. And if you can, the ripple of caring is what dentistry is. A huge profession that people have always been terrified. All over the world, you go to as a dentist, and people cover their mouth, and they're afraid to have you look in their mouth. And that ability to think like a scientist, and not just, I'm going to do that filling, or I'm going to take out that tooth, but here's a person. This is a person. This isn't a filling. This isn't a tooth. And now they have COVID anxiety, and I loved. I want to do a mental health seminar. I think that's fabulous, because if we can't come to this in our own wellness, then we can't impart wellness to other people. And it isn't the MOD, it isn't the extraction, it is what you're imparting to this person, that you care, and that you are there to help them get better and healthier. And I think that this is I love dentistry. And I've been at this a long time, and I still love being able to have someone get up and lead and go, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought, or all the things that people do say when you care versus, and now it's harder and harder to come in. And I don't practice anymore. I don't have an office anymore, thank goodness. But when you come in with your mask, your shield, your loops, your COVID equipment, that caring mechanism is going to be harder and harder to express to the person that you're in the same room with, and to your staff. We look like robots now. We have to just go into super mode of the caring mechanism, that the only reason everybody went into dentistry, not the only reason, making a good living, applying our skills and knowledge, but it's that, that person at the other end, not the filling, not the crown, but the person at the other end that we have to impart that. And when they leave from your office knowing they were cared for, they're going to have that, ripple, the pond ripple. They're going to be able to express that to the next person they encounter, rather than being angry or upset or anything, which again ripples out as well. So I think that we collectively can educate, tele-dentistry is education through, and mental health. I love that. I think that we all need to work on our own mental health, and then impart that, our skill sets and our empathy and our caring to reach out to one person at a time, or as many as you can. So I love that, Eric. Thanks for saying we need to reach out daily when we come in contact.
Yeah, just building on what Maria said, which I think is really powerful, and kind of speaks to me about the quote unquote power of doctor, is how many times, just anecdotally, how many times in your office do you get the question, Doc, what would you do in your mouth? Doc, what would you do if this were your kid or your spouse, right? We get that question a lot, because we're seeing patients at their absolutely most vulnerable point, right? On the other end is pain, or on the other end is financial burden, fear, right? Really deep motivators. And so it's not, like Maria was saying, not just our job to do that MOD, right? To properly diagnose and go through the motions, of the elements on a treatment plan, but to educate and to guide that patient, right? I mean, we also hear that joke out there, you take a patient to a dentist, to two dentists for their opinions, and how many treatment plans do you get? You get 3, right? There's not necessarily, one right way to do it, but what's the best way for this patient in their circumstances right here, right now? And so I think, it goes beyond the element of just doing the procedures, and into the element of relating to the patient, empathetically, and guiding them with your knowledge to the best solution for them.
We're running out of time. Anybody else would like to add on the subject?
Yeah, I just left to touch base about. I really enjoyed everything that you guys shared, and at the end of the day, if you think about it, dentistry is probably the least important part of the appointment. I mean, the patient comes to see you. You need to be able to communicate. You need to be a good communicator. We're talking about empathy. I guess that's another reason why there's some that Dr. Biss really brought up some points regarding how we absorb things, and it could translate into more severe attention that need to be looked at. But you know, when your patient comes in, I mean, why did they choose you? You know, and like Dr. Krell said, you know, you ask two dentists, there's going to be 10 treatment plans coming up. But really, what it comes down to, what it boils down to, in my mind, it's about integrity. I've had the privilege of being also at in the provincial governing body a little bit, and definitely, I can tell you that, you know, it's not at the same level, you know, the integrity for everybody. But what we're doing right now definitely, you know, brings us to come together, make a little pause about our daily businesses and reflect about how we do things, how we can certainly better the processes. And, you know, the reach of this is unbelievable. So that's what it comes down to. Thanks.
Yeah. What I think also is that white teledentistry works because the people can see a doctor. So they see your face. They see what you are trying to how you're gonna help them, and that's the most important part. The important is that the human touch that you give to the patients. It's very important psychologically, and also it will help him a lot. It's mostly almost 50% of the treatment also is how you treat your patient, and it's just your face, and that's it.
So who should read this book? Anybody?
All.
Every medical profession, if they don't have their priorities straight, this book can be quite a medium for them to learn what is achievable for doctors. And there is a lot more than dentistry in the healthcare industry. The people that carry the letters of DR. We are actually expanding into that space next with medicine and pharmacy and those things, showing and demonstrating what we were able to achieve in dentistry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to excuse myself if possible. We have a PORTUGAL coming up in 1 hour, and we have to prepare the speaker. The two individuals from Egypt. Dr. Bach, is there any way we can arrange for you or for Dr. Bhasin or for the other regions and chairs to conduct PORTUGALs with these amazing, motivating stories that we've been hearing here all morning as a consequence of the book?
I believe, Dr. Beck, if you can, it will be actually an honor and pleasure for all of us and Team GI Summit to have all these amazing people to have with us at the PORTUGAL. I think they will create something to learn for all our peers to peers. And I think with their experience and energy and their so much of depth in knowledge and in their experience, they will be able to share those with all our peers and help us to grow better. So I kindly request you all it will be actually an honor for us to have you all with the PORTUGAL. So Dr. Beck, if you can, I request you that if you can arrange for their emails and we can send them a formal invitation through us. We are looking forward to have them all on our PORTUGAL sessions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that would be great. Let's have them on board.
That's gonna be the first thing I do right after this interview.
That is wonderful, and thank you for bringing us together, Dr. Bach, and this wonderful opportunity of being part of a book. We all know how to read scientific books, but very few of us get to be actual publishers. We look for your guidance on the next book to come.
Thank you so much for the energy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. And Jeremy, by the way, send me information about your fan page. I'd like to become a fan.
Thanks everyone, and it was a pleasure meeting everyone. And
thank you, stay safe.
All of the authors.
Thank you.
And Agatha, I'm gonna be so excited when we draw you back into the love for the profession.
Oh, hard.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Have a great
Looking
day.
forward for next time.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
I like to close on one thing. It's usually I end up all my interviews with a message of hope. This time, I like to ask that hope to Dr. Ouellette, who is the dean of a group and also who brought us together. Dr. Ouellette, this book is the third one that you share with me. And you share 50 years of knowledge, of wisdom. What would be your hope for the future?
Well, I want to give Agatha some hope because I was facing several times during my career, like, why am I doing this? And wanted to quit and went through recessions, major recessions where, I almost lost my practice. And so what I focused on was, being positive. And I really focused on my family and my children. And so I was going to get 3 dentists out of them. I did get 2. And the daughter is in advertising in New York. She's supposed to be our oral surgeon. And in fact, she's furloughed with us down in Florida right now. And so you'll do another 25 years. I know you will, because you kind of get your second wind. And every time I stumbled, there was an opportunity that came up. And I thought we would all be really stumbling with the COVID that we're facing right now. And look at the opportunity that has happened today, and how we can communicate and help each other. And I'd love to contribute to the book that you'll be doing with us.
If that's not hope, I don't know what hope is. I'd like to thank you all. Again, I will repeat myself. I stand humble and honored to be connecting with you, to be contributing with you. And this is 238 pages, 58,000 words, 14 authors. This is by far the most majestic work I've put out there. It will be available tomorrow in 51 countries through Apple Book. Hopefully by the end of the week, it will be available also for print on demand on Amazon. As many of you know, we have disclosed a lot, but trust me, there's still a lot in that book that should help you heal, should help you all just reconnect yourself. That being said, thank you all, ALPHAS. Now that we know that within another email, you should all become member of the Region family. We're all in this together. No matter the flag we are bearing, no matter the thinking, I think that our genuine, the fact that we're genuine, the fact that we are kind, the fact that we're generous, bring us together. And with this, I thank you all to be part of this great, wonderful journey. And I'd like my co-author to close, Dr. Pavel.
Well, Dr. Bach, what can I say? It's been a very serious ride, a beautiful ride, in a way, a sad ride with the COVID and everything going on around the world. But you brought a certain passion out of me that I think I've always had. And, we look forward to working together. And our goal should be to inspire our colleagues, to inspire our profession, to make healthcare go forward in a positive direction, so that our doctors and colleagues can benefit across the globe. And ultimately, we owe a huge responsibility to our patients, and we must focus on treating them as we treat our own family members. And, what can I say? I mean, it's just a pleasure and such an honor to be here having this discussion with you. And I love you all. I love the world. I love our colleagues. And, let's rock and roll, guys. Let's have fun together. Fun is, it's all about fun. Thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Bach.
This was The Power of Doctor. Welcome to the ALPHAS, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
By the end of this crisis, clinics are all small businesses. Half of them will be in danger. And those who are close to the edge of a financial breakdown will be tempted to sell to the corporation that will be just swallowing everything. What we are, we're not a corporation. We are a corporation hosting micro-organization. Mainly with us, all dentists stay independent. They still have something by the end of it, and the model of MDEX, it's a non-profit sharing. In other words, the profit are to the dentist to keep if they respect certain conditions. Mainly what I'm trying to say here is the deal is simple. After this crisis, we have repackaged everything we are gonna give dentists the perfect lifestyle, working 3 days a week, sharing resources and don't have extra overhead that they don't need. Now every dentist can be an owner. We're gonna get dentists to become millionaires within 10 to 15 years, and that can be proven. This is the asset they're gonna keep. On top of it, we are not looking to commit a dentist for the rest of their life. After 10 years, they are free to stay, to renew, or to go. We're gonna support the decision, whatever they decide. This is a liberal system. And we're gonna make sure that dentists have the best quality of life to give the best quality of care to the patient, thus keeping the whole system intact. This was before COVID-19. At the light of this crisis, we face more than one challenge. We have to do better. So here's the leadership of MDEX. We'll be asking from our partners to give 5% of their time and 2% of their profit in philanthropy. That will mean that by the saturation of MDEX, every fiscal year, MDEX will have given, provided by their partners, the equivalent of 8 years of labor for free. Based on conservative numbers, that also means that this is about 5 million going back to the community. Why are we doing this? Because we can, because we have to, and we will. Hi, I'm Dr. Bag. Welcome to the office. Welcome to MDEX. We are in the midst of the confinement. I did escape. No worries, I'm all alone by myself. But mainly, I am eager to resume my work and to welcome all of you back to clinic. This is addressed to all my patients, to all my colleagues, and also to all my peers. If there's one thing that I've learned through this crisis, is that going forward, we need to share, we need to stay together, and we need to consult each other in order to find the better practice, the better way to move forward. Yes, all enterprises are fighting for their own survival, and if there's one thing that I've done for the last 2 months, it's asking for a break. It's calling my landlord, calling my banks, calling everybody to ask them for a break, knowing that it is hard for everybody. I'd like to thank all those who were very comprehensive and cut on our fees, cut on our payment while they themselves are fighting. For this, I thank you. Looking back at you, I know that you've been through the same thing, maybe even worse. So before you ask, yes, I'll be expecting for MDEX to cut you some break. Going through this, there's one man I met. His name is Dr. Ouellette. He did that about 10 years ago, at the last recession. He found a way to keep the economy running, to save his practice, and also to be part of society to a better level. And I'm proud today to announce that the Ouellette initiative will be implemented by MDEX in Canada, and everything that we do will be passed on to all of you. To my patient, they will benefit that break. To our new patient, you're welcome to join to the effort and to join with a smile and a hope. To all my colleagues working with me, yes, there's a way to resume work. To all of you, my peers and colleagues, we'll be sharing with you everything that we've learned on the way, what we've learned, what worked, what didn't work. Because as I promised, this is not a competitive edge. It's a way to save all of us. It's a way to stay relevant in our industry. It's a way to stay relevant in our society. This is the Ouellette initiative. For those of you who missed the summit, it is available online for free. And for the rest of you, I am just eager to see you smile, to shake your hands, to give you a big hug. And yes, I'm a hugger, and the virus won't change that. I'm Dr. Bag. Welcome to the office. I'm Dr. Bag. Welcome to the office.